Welcome back to another video, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I'm doing a mod review on the Mega TNT mod. Now, if you're wondering, wait, didn't you already review that like a year ago? Well, yes, but there has been a huge update, and I just have to do another review because of how impactful it was. So, on top of getting a bunch of new TNT, and even some new tiers of TNT, the mod went through a huge optimization update, and now there is no more long waits, except for like a few TNTs that couldn't really be changed. But yeah, anyways, let's get started. So another thing that you will notice is that all TNT now properly becomes entities. So yeah, TNT times 5, TNT times 20, you know these. They should be self-explanatory. Then we have mining TNT. It will mine out a bunch of blocks and give you a bunch of pickaxes, but it will leave the ores. However, TNT times 100 will not leave any ores behind when it does that. Next up, we have the thermobaric bomb. This is a new one that was added. And as you can see, TNT now also does damage to entities. Next up we have cubic TNT. Again, pretty self-explanatory. The cool TNT, I believe it remained unchanged. Yeah, the half square, half cube. And the bunker buster is perfect for a mountain. Because it goes very deep. Wow, all the way down to bedrock. Moving on, we have the TNT rain, which will obviously make a rain of TNT. It is a little bit more centered than it used to be, but still goes primarily in the positive X and Z direction. Next up we have the tiny TNT, or the little TNT, which is not actually little. It's pretty destructive. We have the cluster TNT, which will obviously summon in tons of TNT. Next up, this is a new one. It is random TNT, because when you ignite it, the explosion size will be random. For example, that was a very small explosion, but if I ignite it again, we got a bigger one. And if we ignite it again, it will probably be different again. Yeah, that one was much bigger. Next up, we have freeze TNT. Which will freeze everything and turn it into ice. This one is also a new one. It is propellant. And what it does is it doesn't do any damage to the terrain, but it gives a lot of knockback to anything that is very close to it. So for example, if I summon this arrow TNT and then put it next to the propellant, it will get launched. And then the arrow TNT explodes and sends out flaming arrows everywhere. Next up we have the worthy TNT. This is a brand new one in the latest update. And I don't know what it does. Okay, so it gives you a bunch of ores that you can then go ahead and mine. Cool. But now let's move on to the tier 2 TNTs. We'll start out with the little boy atomic bomb. This one was in the original, but it got a new texture and, of course, the optimization. Fat Man Atomic Bomb, same thing. New texture, better optimization. Now, much more deadly. Nuclear Chunk Buster, similar to the previous one, it goes very deep, but this one is, of course, a lot wider. And these ones are extremely powerful because of how deep they can actually go. However, bigger cubic TNT is also extremely powerful. It completely cleared out this entire mountain. Now, a staple of the Mega TNT mod, we have the Mr. Incredible, or the Uncanny Mr. Incredible. Very deadly. Next up, we have Ocean TNT. And yeah, I'm not going through every single one because there are just so many. The mod creator is making his own review. So if you want to watch even more of them, you can check it out on his channel. Lava Ocean, again, same thing. I'm not sure what happened to the lighting, but yeah. Next up we have Forest TNT. I believe this one used to exist. It was like a tier 4, but it got a lot more normal. It now actually makes a nice looking forest. Moving on, we have the Grass Plains TNT. I do really like the texture. It places a bunch of grass everywhere, so you better get your lawnmower. Or you can just get Big TNT, which is now very big. Instead of being big as a block, when you ignite it, it turns massive. And yeah, not the most deadly, but still very powerful. Next up we have Po Valley. This one was also present. It is just a bigger version of a flat TNT. Next up we have the Ice Meteor, which obviously summons an ice meteor to come down. And it places down packed ice all over the crater. Next up we have Incandescent TNT, which, as you might expect from the color, it places a ton of fire everywhere in a very large radius too. As you can see, it reached all the way over here. Next up we have Floating Island TNT. Again, this should be self-explanatory. It creates a floating island. With a boss TNT on top. And wow, it can actually be damaged now. Okay. I'll leave the boss fight to you. Next up we have the Super Landmine. And there is a grass and a sand version, which obviously when you step on it, it will blow up. And this time it will actually deal damage and you will most likely die. Next up we have Ice Age TNT. This is a brand new one. It places down tons of ice, snow, and gives you mining fatigue and slowness. And yeah, that's it for the tier 2s. Now let's go on to tier 3s. First up we have Ceres TNT. Again, I have no idea if I'm saying that right. This one was in the original. And it's just a bigger Meteor TNT. As you can see, that's a very big difference from the tier 2s. And it also places down, I believe this is lava. Or no, it's something. It's meteor blocks. Okay, next up we have Flat Solar System TNT. These really mess with the graphics. So yeah, this one is just a huge area that gets flattened out. But as you can see, the top part still remains. Next up we have the cooler nuclear bomb, and you might want to cover your ears a little bit. I will obviously turn down the volume so you don't suffer. Yeah, so it does the sphere crater and then a wide ellipsoid part to simulate how an actual nuke would behave. Although this is not that realistic, I don't think an actual nuke would just leave floating stuff. But anyways, next up let's do global warming, which is perfect for over here, because what it does so it gets rid of all water and replaces grass with sand. So we have a very weird snow global warming desert combination. Next up we have Korolev, which again I have no idea if I'm saying that right. It is basically a bigger version of the Ice Meteor TNT. And it's just an ice version of Ceres. I believe they're roughly the same size. Next up we have Hell TNT. It places down netherrack everywhere. Next up we have Bath of Fire Pieces, which I think is perfect for this area. So this one is a bigger version of Meteor Shower. It will summon tons of meteors that will then blow up. There's so much water in this world. So yeah. Enjoy the show. I believe it is done. So yeah, causes a lot of destruction to the land. And we have the Valdivia earthquake. Now this one he told me he changed the explosion. So let's see. Oh, that's interesting. Now it like gradually opens up. I don't know why I'm being knocked around though. Oh, maybe to like simulate the world shaking. Okay, I like that. That's actually a pretty cool addition. And it definitely looks more like an earthquake than the original version did. But anyways, now let's move on to, of course, some of the dynamites. So most of them are just either the exact same version or a slightly smaller version of existing TNTs. The biggest like different ones are the rains. For example, Dynamite times 5 rain. It will summon a bunch of Dynamite times 5. Sponge Dynamite might be useful over here. Next up we have Pulse Dynamite. These are all tier 1s. Now on to tier 2s, we have the Dynamite times 20 rain. A lot more destructive. Big Dynamite, which is actually big when you throw it. And very powerful. Super Chaotic Dynamite, these are tier 3s. Yeah, very nice. Next up we have the giant Dynamite, also tier 3, and it looks ridiculous. So yeah, a pretty big crater. Next up, we have Dynamite times 500 rain. This is a tier 4 Dynamite. And I'll try to blow it up over these huge mountains. I do recommend playing on a, for example, this is an amplified world. And here we go. Everything is going straight down to bedrock. There's nothing left above it. And the final one I will be showing you is Colossal Dynamite, also a tier 4. And say goodbye to probably this whole mountain. And that looks ridiculous. And yeah. Distance Horizons is having some trouble catching up now. But yeah. Very, very nice. Very cool. Moving on. We have two more tier 3 TNTs. We have this one, which I will not pronounce. You can read it. And it makes it rain a bunch of valuable blocks, which is really cool. Very overpowered, but I mean, TNT mods are meant to be balanced. And another new one, we have Duplex Madness. It summons tons of houses around the world. All of them are equivalent to the big house TNT, with nether portals and end portals and everything else. But let's move on to tier 4 with Supernova. Sadly, the dogs had to die. But yeah, Supernova, very powerful, as you should expect. It places magma blocks around the crater and is where the serious stuff slowly happens. Next up we have Terrifying Mr. Incredible TNT. And yeah, I believe it's quite a bit stronger than the Supernova. Moving on, we have Moon Impact. I believe this one is similar in strength. I don't know. But yeah, it's a bigger version of the Meteor TNT. And let's see. Compared to the most terrifying. Yeah, they are pretty similar. I think Moon Impact might be slightly larger. But not too important. Anyways, next up we have just a regular TNT. Obviously you believe that, right? Well, if you did, I don't know what to tell you because you should not. It's basically a huge version of the Pulse TNT. And yeah, in my original review, I wasn't aware that it did this. So, yeah, very cool. The world is struggling to keep up. Next up, we have this one, which again, I will not pronounce because no. it's just a huge cone. Looks pretty cool. And the last, I believe, tier 4 that I'll be showing you. No, it's not the last one. The last old one. Straightway to Hell. This one is a big cylinder, if I remember correctly. Yeah. That is one big cylinder. And yeah, I can test these in the water because it does not matter. Everything will get destroyed anyways. But now, we have 2 new tier 4s, which I also never tested, so I don't know what they do. This one is... yeah, I'll read that because I'm not pronouncing it. So some kind of war aftermath. Ah, I see. It rains down a bunch of nukes. Okay, how far did that knock me? Yeah, that's definitely a war aftermath. Well. Did quite a lot of damage to the terrain. Okay. And the final one that I will be showing you in tier 4 is the flat universe theory. My instinct tells me this is just a huge version of the flat TNT, so I'll blow it up underground. And yes, I am correct. And how wide is this? Very wide. Okay, pretty cool. Very cool new additions, but tier 4 isn't where we're gonna stop. Now we're moving on to tier 5. For example, TNT times 50,000. And yeah, everything's gone. Distant Horizons spent so long generating all of these, and now they're just gone. At this point, it might be better to just disable it. So yeah, TNT times 50,000. Still going. I think it was slowing down a bit. But yeah, that is a very big crater. And as you should expect, all tier 5s are going to be insane, just in different ways. Next up we have Gargantuan TNT. Distant Horizons, please shut up. And where did it go? That's where it went. And it does have a long fuse so you can admire the size. Okay. And yeah. One thing I do wish, okay, please stop freaking out. I do wish that the knockback didn't apply to spectator mode players. It's just a little bit inconvenient. But yeah, Gargantuan TNT also is absolutely massive. And yeah, loading these craters does take a while because of how huge they are. Okay, where am I? In the middle of a mountain. Next up, we have the Advanced Made Multiverse Destroyer. I believe this is a bigger version of the cooler nuclear TNT, cooler antimatter bomb, etc. The sound effect is a little bit late, but that's fine. So yeah, just like those, there's a big sphere in the middle and then a super wide portion. And I took the time to render the whole crater. As you can see, it's very, very impressive. Not the best with the mountains, but it can still clear out a very good area. So, let's move on. And yeah, I need to start teleporting because that's just how big some of these explosions are. Speaking of big explosions, next up we are doing the, what is it called? The Ultra Singularity Outerverse Buster. And yeah, this is another new one, obviously. Okay, it seems that Voxy is also struggling a bit with the rendering. Okay, that fixed it. And yeah, I have no idea how wide this one is, but I know that it's extremely deep, just like every single one of the busters. And yeah, this is the first one of the Tier 2.0 TNTs. Previously, only the Apocalypse was in the Tier 2.0, but now we have multiple of them. And yeah, very impressive. Next up, if I can find some land over here. I know I don't need it, but okay, will do. We have the demonic Mr. Incredible TNT. And yeah, your ears have been spared, mine have not. So, this one is, again, just a much bigger version of the other Mr. Incredible TNTs. If the world will actually load, that would be great. And yeah. So yeah, a very big sphere, but much bigger than the Tier 5 one. And I think at this point it would even be, if I wanted to actually not have the craters overlap, I would need to go like 2,000 blocks away. But that doesn't matter, we're just going in one direction. So let's go with the next one, which is Mega TNT. And as the TNT that bears the name of the mod, obviously it's going to be special. And it is a bigger version of the big, colossal, gargantuan TNTs. Yeah. And nothing will be the same. Yeah, that's just insane. And even going 1,000 blocks out, we're still not at the edge of the crater. Because this crater is even bigger. As you can see, it is, let me do some math, 1,400 radius, so 2,800 blocks wide. Yeah, we're getting to a point where it just becomes a number, because nobody's going to be able to, well, not nobody, but most people aren't going to see a big difference between like 3,000 blocks wide or 4,000 or 5,000, because it just destroys it destroys such a huge area that it will probably destroy everything you have explored if you don't travel too much in your survival world. But moving on, the next one, after tier 2.0, there is two more tiers. Afterwards, it becomes tier Mega. And over here, the first one we will be checking out is Angry TNT. And yeah. Everything gets destroyed. That doesn't exist. Don't worry, it's not real. And teleporting 1,000 blocks out, we are still nowhere near the edge. We need to teleport even further. I clicked teleport again, I'm not sure why. It's not working, but here we are. I forgot exactly how big it is, but unlike the previous ones, this one is a cuboid. But unlike, for example, the Busters, it's no, not the Busters, the cubic TNTs and the other ones, it is slightly irregular to make it seem like it's not just a chunk issue. But yeah, very big. As you can see, that was the center of it. And I think it's a similar, maybe slightly wider than Mega TNT. But because it's a cuboid, it'll be much bigger, or a cube actually, because it's the same height as it is the width. And yeah, I'm gonna go 2,000 blocks away. Next up, we have the Omega Matter Bomb. I'll try to actually remember the coordinates where I blew it up so I can measure. So I blew it up at 21,000. Obviously, everything gets destroyed. And we need to teleport around 2,000 blocks away. Or slightly less, I guess. Well, no. 2,000 blocks away. Because it is 4,000 blocks wide. And it is a double cone, once again. So one cone on top and one on the bottom. Like a spinning top, basically. So yeah. 4,000 blocks wide. Nobody needs that, but it's not a matter of whether you need it. It's a matter of whether it's cool. And we are going 25,000 blocks away now, because we are going to be testing out the Extreme Developed Omniverse Annihilator. This is the biggest version of the cooler nuclear, cooler antimatter, and ultra singularity outerverse buster. This one used to be a tier 5, but it got buffed and made much bigger. Because yeah, the name suggested it would be a lot bigger than what it used to be. So, going 1,000 blocks out is still everything destroyed. And 2,000 blocks out is also everything destroyed. 3,000 blocks out, everything is destroyed. We need to go even further. In this one, the ellipsoid part is much deeper, so it won't leave mountains and stuff like the previous ones did. But yeah, finally we reach the end. Because the ellipsoid is actually wide enough to encompass most of the world. So unless you have a height extension mod, like our world is 1,000 blocks high, this one will basically destroy everything. And yeah, as you can see, it is 3,800 radius, which is 7,600 blocks wide. We're getting to the absolutely insane stuff now. Like, there's no reason that this needs to be that big. However, there's also no reason for the next TNT to even exist, but it does. The next one. The Big Lol, the strongest TNT to ever exist. As you can see, it says extremely big. But how big, are you wondering? We're about to find out. So yeah, it even destroys most of the bedrock in a radius around itself. But take a guess at how wide it actually is. Maybe you guessed 10,000 blocks wide. So let's go 5,000 blocks out. Nope, everything destroyed. Maybe it's 20,000 blocks wide. Nope, everything is destroyed. 40,000. Everything is destroyed. This TNT is over 45,000 blocks wide. It is 45,700, if my math is... No, 45,650 blocks wide. So this is even bigger than the Never TNT from Super TNT Mod. Not to mention, it's actually even taller than the world. I don't remember exactly how tall, but it is taller than 384. So yeah, this TNT is probably, like... It's very hard to measure nowadays because there are some TNTs that technically they are bigger, but it takes so long and the crater isn't actually fully loaded. It only loads the parts that you currently are exploring. So if you want to load the whole crater, you need to fly around the entire thing and load all of those chunks, which would take a really, really long time. So yeah, depending on how you measure TNTs, this is currently the strongest one that you can somewhat reasonably fully explode. However, we are not done, because there is a tier beyond the tier Mega, and those are the tier Infinites. And as the name suggests, all of these TNTs are, technically speaking, infinitely big. So, the first one is the World of Water. This one was in the old version. I don't know if anything changed. So yeah, it summons the Divine Water, which gives you infinite regeneration, and then it starts to spread. So, nothing changed here. But yeah, if you keep this going, it will spread forever. Next up, we have the Super Finale TNT. This one was in the original, but it got completely changed. In the original version, it just summoned a few small explosions and some fireworks, and it continued to spread. But now, it is much more insane. Because what it does is summon a bunch of colossal TNTs. And those will all blow up. And as you can see, the Divine Water even survived everything. And yeah, there are more colossal TNTs. You just have to find them. Okay, Voxy is doing a good job with reloading everything after a crater explodes. So yeah, I do recommend using that mod. And you will need, since this is a Forge mod and Voxy is Fabric for 1.20, you will need the Forgified Fabric API, or I forgot exactly what it's called, and the connector. But yeah, I'm not sure if this is infinite or if this stops eventually. You should probably go look at the mod creators video for that information. But either way, it's absolutely insane. I'm actually going to turn up my simulation distance so that more of them load in and explode. Yeah, just as I said that, we got another one. There's another one. Yeah, they just all started. Okay, I see that the problem wasn't re-rendering the crater, it's just when there's so many blocks to re-render it takes a while, which is understandable. And yeah, the water is still over there spreading. So yeah, if you want chaos in your world, this is definitely a potential one. But we are not done, because there is the ultimate TNT, the one that is bigger than any of the others. And that is the Absolute Infinity Buster. And it says this one will get rid of everything. Now, you might be wondering, what does everything mean? Well, everything means, quite literally, well, everything. I'm not sure why I died, but the game is in a very weird state. Okay. And as you could see, what just happened? Well, what happened is the world doesn't actually exist anymore. Now, the divine water, I believe that still exists because it's designed to spread. So even if you get rid of the original one, the one that remained will continue spreading. Although the lag is a bit obnoxious. But yeah, the entire world no longer actually exists. If I reload, Voxy is struggling to keep up. Yeah, all of this terrain is non-existent. As you can see, I'm just falling right through it. So I'm gonna disable Voxy rendering. We saw everything will get destroyed. And by everything, we literally mean everything. So, if we go 30 million blocks out, everything, including everything past the world border, is all gone. The entire Minecraft world is gone. There's nothing left. That's how powerful this TNT is. Maybe a little bit bugged, but still extremely powerful. And the final TNT that I will be showing you today oh, hi there. The final TNT I will be showing you is the anti-ram TNT. And yeah, this one wasn't the original, and what it does is it summons so much TNT that it just instantly crashes your PC. So, goodbye. And we're done. So yeah, if you need a mod that completely decimates absolutely everything. Especially now, because in the update, the creator also added crafting recipes for all the TNTs, so you can make every single one of them in survival. And be very, very, very mean to your friends. So yeah. Hope you enjoyed the video. I will leave a link to the download of the mod in the description, as well as a link to the creator's channel, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye!